The letters were 147 of them, stuffed into a shoebox that had been rotting under the floorboard RDS of the servants' quarters for 33 years. I found them at 3 in the morning, 2 hours after the bomb took out the East Wing, with the smell of smoke still clinging to my clothes and a child's blood drying on my hands. Not hers. The blast had sent glass across the ballroom, shot RDS that cut deep. Lily had been standing right next to me when it happened, her small body curled against mine. She'd taken a piece to the shoulder. I was reading letter number 1 when M.A. Rio came back from the GA den with news. The voice recorder was still running in Celeste's purse, tucked next to her lipstick and her spa recompact. She'd made a call 20 minutes before the explosion. A name I recognized. Gabriel Russo. My enemy. The man I'd been hunting for 15 years. She'd told him the plan was in motion and that he should wait for her at the rendezvous point. Then she'd hung up and walked back into the ballroom, smiling, ready to watch me die. Only I didn't die, because a 5-year-old girl had seen the kitchen staff tampering with the cake. Because she'd had the nerve to tug on my jacket and whisper a warning. Because she'd been watching from behind a catering CART when Celeste herself pulled the detonator from her clutch and pressed the button. I'd been a Mafia boss for 20 years. I'd killed men with my BA-re hands. I'd ordered executions and never lost a night's sleep. But when I read those letters, when I saw my mother's handwriting on the yellowed paper, I felt something I hadn't felt since I was 12 years old. Since the day she died and I'd stood over her casket and promised myself I'd never be weak again. The first letter was dated 3 weeks before her death. Vincent. If you're reading this, then I am already gone. There are things you need to know about the man who raised you. About the family you think you belong to. Your father didn't die in a CAR accident. He was murdered by the Whitmores. And he wasn't your father at all. I read that sentence 6 times. The words wouldn't stick. They just bounced off my skull and scattered like the glass in the ballroom. My father wasn't my father. The man who'd put a gun in my hand at 15 and taught me how to gut a man with a fillet knife. The man who'd told me my blood was Whitmore through and through, that I was born to rule, that the Russos were animals who deserved extinction. I was a Russo. The same blood that ran through Gabriel's veins. The same blood I'd been spilling for 2 decades. M.A. Rio was waiting at the study door, his face pale under the soot. He'd been with me through everything. He was the only man I trusted. Sir, we've got movement on the grounds. Looks like Russo's men trying to breach the perimeter. They must have known about the Pa Rudy. They must have been waiting for the chaos. How many? At least 20. Maybe more. H.A. rode to tell in the smoke. I folded the letter and tucked it into my jacket pocket. There were more letters in the shoebox. 146 more. But they'd have to wait. Where's the girl? In the bunker with her mother. She's stable. The wound isn't deep. Get them out of here. The tunnel to the safe house. Make sure no one sees them go. M.A. Rio nodded and Desape read. I turned back to the box on the desk. My mother's handwriting. The loops and curls I'd memorized as a boy. The letters she'd sent me from the hospital during her final illness. She'd loved me. That much I knew. That much I'd always known, but she'd lied to me too. She'd hidden the truth. She'd let me believe I was a Whitmore when I was something else entirely. I pulled out letter number 2. They made me RRY him, Vincent. They told me if I didn't, they'd kill my family. My parents. My sisters. My brother. I didn't have a choice. I was 17 years old. I was SCA red. I thought if I just went along with it, I could keep everyone safe. I thought I could find a way out. I kept reading. Her handwriting grew shakier as the letters progressed. She'd been sick RD the end. The cancer had taken her slowly, eating away at her bones, her strength, her hope. But she'd kept writing. She'd kept trying to reach me. Letter 12 was the one that stopped my heart. You have a brother, Vincent. A half-brother. His name is Gabriel. He was born 3 years before you. The Russos took him from me when he was an infant. They said I wasn't fit to raise him. They said I'd tainted the family line by marrying a Whitmore. They said I'd never see him again. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. Gabriel Russo wasn't just my enemy. He wasn't just my cousin. He was my brother. I'd spent 15 years hunting my own blood. I'd ordered hits on his men. I'd burned his businesses. I'd killed 2 of his lieutenants with my own hands. And all of it had been orchestrated by the man I called father. The man who'd taken my mother, taken her children, and turned us against each other. I heard footsteps on the stairs. Not M.A. Rios. Too light. Too fast that I drew my gun and waited that the door burst open. A man I didn't recognize, black suit, black tie, a SCAR across his throat that told me he'd survived something he shouldn't have. He raised his weapon and I fired first. 3 rounds. Center mass. He went down like a sack of bricks. More footsteps. More men. I took cover behind the desk, and STA route picking them off as they came through the door. I was good at this. I'd been trained to be good at this. But there were too many of them. I heard shouting from outside. Gunfire from the perimeter. M.A. Rios' voice barking orders. He'd gotten the girl and her mother out. Now he was coming back for me, sir. His voice cut through the chaos. We need to move. The whole property is compromised. They've got men everywhere. I grabbed the shoebox and shoved it under my ARM. Where's the exit? East stairwell. We have to go now. I followed him out of the study, firing over my shoulder as we went. The house was burning. The fire had spread from the east wing to the main building. Smoke was everywhere. I could see 2 feet in front of my face. We made it to the stairwell, down 3 flights, through the basement, into the tunnels that connected the estate to the city. I'd built those tunnels myself, years ago, for exactly this scenario. I'd always known it might come to this. We emerged in a safe house on the Lower East Side, a nondescript building that looked like any other in the neighborhood. Inside, it was fully stocked. Weapons, surveillance equipment, enough food and water to last 3 months. That M.A. Rio was already on the comms, organizing the counterattack. I collapsed into a chair and pulled out the letters. 147 of them. My mother's life story, written in cramped handwriting on cheap paper. She'd hidden them under the floorboards, hoping someone would find them. Hoping I'd find them, because she'd known she was dying. She'd known I was still a child. She'd written them anyway, because she'd believed I'd need to know the truth someday. But she was right. Letter 32 was the one that changed everything. I know you're going to try to destroy the Russos. I know your father is going to make you into a weapon. He's already STA root. He's already filling your head with lies. But I need you to remember something, Vincent. They're not your enemy. They're your family. Your blood. The same blood that runs through your veins. Gabriel is your brother. He doesn't know it. They took him from me when he was too young to remember. They told him his mother died in childbirth. They raised him to hate us, just like the Whitmores raised you to hate them. You're both victims, Vincent. You're both pawns. I looked up from the letter. M.A. Rio was watching me. His face eerily blank. Sir, the Russo attack. The one tonight. Did Gabriel know we were there? He must have. His wife was Celeste. She'd have told him everything. I nodded slowly. He wasn't trying to kill me. Not really. He was trying to flush me out. He wanted me to come to him. Sir. I stood up, the letter still clutched in my hand. He's my brother, M.A. Rio. My mother's son. And he doesn't know. M.A. Rio's eyes widened. That's impossible. The Russos and the Whitmores have been at war for decades. The Whitmores were the ones who STA rooted it. My father, the man who raised me, he took my mother from her family. He forced her to marry him. He stole her children. He turned us against each other because he was afraid of what we could do if we ever joined forces. I was pacing now, the pieces falling into place. The war, the betrayals, the years of bloodshed and loss. All of it engineered by one man. The man I'd called father. Gabriel didn't know about tonight, not really. Celeste was working alone. She was trying to prove herself. She was trying to impress him by taking me out. Then who was at the estate tonight? The men I saw, they were his. But he didn't send them. They were working for someone else. Someone who's been playing both sides. I reached for the shoebox and pulled out letter 44, that your father isn't the only one you need to worry about, Vincent. There's someone else. Someone who was there from the beginning. Someone who's been pulling the strings all along. He's not Whitmore, and he's not Russo. He's something else entirely. I turned the page. There was a name. A name I'd seen on 100 documents, in 1,000 meetings, at 1,000,000 dinners, M.A. Webb. My father's attorney. The man who'd handled the estate. The man who'd been at my side through every major decision. The man who'd been whispering in my EAR for 20 years. He was the one who'd hired Celeste. He was the one who'd given her the detonator. He was the one who'd been working to destroy both families from the inside. And I'd let him. I'd trusted him. I'd let him into my home, my life, my empire. The cold CLA righty came over me like a wave. I knew what I had to do. M.A. Rio, I need you to find Webb. Bring him in. Alive. Yes, sir. I sat down at the desk and sta root writing. Not a letter. A plan. A strategy. A way to end this once and for all. There was a knock at the safe house door. M.A. Rio tensed, his hand on his gun. It's me. Came Rosa's voice. I need to see Vincent. M.A. Rio looked at me. I nodded. He opened the door. Rosa was covered in dust and ash, her dress torn, her hair wild. But she was holding Lily in her arms, and Lily was alive. Still pale, still bandaged, but alive. She's okay, Rosa said, reading my expression. The doctors fixed her up. She's going to be fine. Thank God. I crossed the room and knelt in front of Lily. Hey, sweet ART. You're a tough COK. You know that, Lily smiled weakly. Mama said you saved us. She said you were very brave. No, Lily. You saved me. You warned me about the cake. If you hadn't, I'd be dead right now. Like the lady with the red hair, I frowned. What lady? In the kitchen. The one who put the poison in the cake. Mama says she's dead now. Mama says she died in the explosion. I looked at Rosa. She was watching me with an expression I couldn't quite read. Lily didn't see the maid, she said. She saw Celeste. But she thought Celeste was a maid because she was wearing an apron. Celeste was in the kitchen, liar, mixing something into the batter. She didn't know Lily was watching. I felt my blood run cold. Celeste had been the one to poison the cake. She'd taken the risk herself, despite being the hostess. That meant she was desperate. That meant she'd been pushed into it by someone she was afraid of. M.A. Webb, I said aloud. He forced her. He had something on her. Rosa nodded. The letters mention him. I found them in the basement, liar. Before I came to find you. You read them? She looked at me steadily. You left them in the safe house. I was curious. I'm sorry. Don't be. You have a right to know what's going on. You and Lily are of this now. I turned to M.A. Rio. I need you to take them to the second safe house. The one in Queens. No one else knows about that location. Yes, sir. I'll stay here and deal with Webb when he arrives. Vincent, you can't. Rosa sta root, it's not safe. I know. But I'm not asking you to stay. I'm asking you to take Lily and go. She looked at me for a long moment. Then she nodded. I'll go. But I'm coming back. When this is over, I'm coming back. You owe me that much. I smiled. It's a deal. She left with M.A. Rio, ring Lily in her arms. I watched them go, and then turned back to the shoebox. 147 letters. 147 pieces of my mother's heart. She'd given them to me, even though she'd known I might never find them. She'd believed in me. She'd trusted me to do the right thing. I picked up letter 1 and sta root reading to the safe house, went to RK at 4 in the morning. Not the kind of RK that comes from a blown fuse or a trip breaker. The surgical kind. The kind that meant someone had cut the main power line and was waiting for me to stumble out into the open like a wounded animal. I didn't stumble. I'd been in this business long enough to know that darkness was just another weapon. That I slid my phone from my pocket and activated the night vision app I'd had installed years ago. The screen glowed green, casting the room in an eerie false daylight. I could see the shape of the desk, the chairs, the door. Everything was exactly where it should be. That was the problem. I counted to 30, letting my eyes adjust. Then I moved at the door to the safe house was steel reinforced, bulletproof, wired with enough explosives to take out a city block. But the window on the east wall was a different story. It was reinforced glass, but it was still glass. And glass could be broken. I didn't go for the window. I went for the basement. That the safe house had a second level I'd never shown anyone. A sub-basement with its own power supply, its own weapons cache, its own exit tunnel that led to the subway system. I'd built it for moments like this. Moments when I needed to disap AR. The stairs were narrow, the concrete cold under my feet. I'd never been more grateful for my paranoia. At the bottom, I found what I was looking for. A surveillance monitor connected to a hidden camera in the main room. I turned it on and watched the feed. There were 3 men in the main room. All in black, all armed, all moving with military precision. They were sea-urching the place, turning over furniture, checking the closets. One of them was M.A. Webb. I'd known Webb for 20 years. He'd been my father's lawyer, then mine. He'd handled everything from real estate deals to estate planning to the occasional discreet disposal of evidence. He was tall and thin, with wire-rimmed glasses and the kind of smile that made you think of UCA or salesman. He was also the man who'd been trying to destroy me from the inside. That I watched him on the monitor, his face impassive as he directed the CRCH. He didn't look worried. He didn't look nervous. He looked like a man who was exactly where he was supposed to be. Check the basement, he said. He's down there. He's got to be. I smiled. The basement was a decoy. A trap I'd set years ago for exactly this scenario. I'd filled it with old furniture and fake documents and a single exit that led to a dead end. Anyone who went down there would find themselves sealed in with no way out. The three men found the door and opened it. I watched them descend the stairs. There was a click. Then a scream. Then silence. The basement had been rigged with a gas that would knock a man unconscious in seconds. Non-lethal, but effective. I'd have to move fast if I wanted to question them. I came up through the tunnel entrance in the main room, my gun drawn. Webb was standing in the center of the room, his hands raised. Vincent, he said. I was hoping you'd come. Where is he? Who? The man in charge. The one who hired you. Webb smiled. You're not going to believe me. I've already told you too much. Try me. He lowered his hands. Your mother didn't leave those letters for you. She left them for me. She wanted me to give them to you when you were old enough. But I never did. Why not? Because I was the one who killed her. I felt the world tilt. You're lying. I'm not. I poisoned her, Vincent. Slowly. Over months. The cancer was a convenient cover story. Everyone believed it. Even you. Why? Because she was going to tell you the truth. She was going to ruin everything I'd built. The peace treaty between the families, the power structure, the balance of power. I'd spent 20 years making sure the Whitmores and the Russos stayed at each other's throats. It was good for business. WAR is good for business. I raised my gun. You killed my mother. You killed her over business. Not just business. Revenge. Your father killed my father. Vincent Whitmore Sr., the man who raised you. He took everything from me. He destroyed my family. I was just returning the favor. I was shaking now, the gun trembling in my hands. My mother had nothing to do with that. She was your father's wife. She was part of it. She was complicit. She was a child. She was 17 when they forced her to marry him. She didn't have a choice. Webb's eyes flickered. You think I don't know that? You think I haven't lived with that for 30 years? I know what I did. I know it was wrong. But I also know that sometimes you have to make a choice. You have to do what's necessary. Like killing an innocent woman, like destroying an empire, like making sure no one ever suffers the way I suffered. I lowered the gun. Tell me about Gabriel. Tell me about my brother. Webb laughed. Gabriel, he's not your brother. He's your half-brother. And he's been dead for 3 years. You're lying. I think about it, Vincent. When's the last time you actually saw him? When's the last time you got confirmation that he was alive? I thought about it. It had been years since I'd seen Gabriel in person. He'd always been CA Reeful, staying in the shadows, sending his men to do his dirty work. I'd assumed it was because he was a Coway Road. I'd assumed it was because he was SCA Red. That I'd been wronged. He died in 2020, Webb said. HERT attack. I was there. I saw it happen. Then who's been running the Russo family? Me. I've been running both families. The Whitmores and the Russos. All of it. For the past 3 years. I STA read at him. The pieces were falling into place. The attacks on the estate. The bomb. The letters. It all made sense now. You've been playing both sides, I said. You've been keeping the war going because it was profitable. You've been selling weapons to both families, information to both families, playing us off each other. Exactly. And now that you know the truth, I'm going to have to kill you. I shook my head. You're not going to kill me. You're going to tell me everything. And then I'm going to decide what to do with you. Webb's smile widened. I don't think so. I heard a noise behind me. A click. The sound of a gun being cocked. I turned. There was a man standing in the doorway. A man I'd never seen before. Tall, dark haired, with cold eyes and a thin SCA across his chin. Vincent Whitmore, the man said. I've been looking forward to meeting you. Who are you? I'm your brother. Webb laughed. Gabriel's son. The real heir. The one who's going to kill you. I raised my gun. You think you can take me? I think I can try. He raised his own weapon. But I also think you're not going to shoot me. Because you know what I know. You know we're family. I hesitated. It was only a second. But it was enough. The man pulled the trigger. I felt the bullet hit my shoulder, the impact spinning me around. I hit the floor hard, the air leaving my lungs. Is he dead? Webb asked. No. I want him alive. The man's voice was cold. I want him to suffer. I forced myself to stay still, playing dead. I could hear them moving around the room, gathering the papers, the evidence. They didn't check my pulse. They didn't make sure. They were arrogant. That was their mistake, that I waited until they were at the door. Then I moved. The gun was still in my hand. I fired twice. The first shot hit Webb in the back. The second hit the man I'd never met, the one who called himself my brother. They both went down. I forced myself to my feet, my shoulders screaming in pain. The man was still alive, gasping, his hand pressed against his chest. Who are you? I asked again. The truth. Vincent, he gasped. I'm your brother. Your real brother. Gabriel's son. I was raised by the Russos. I was told you were the enemy. You're dying. You don't have much time. I know. He smiled, blood staining his teeth. I'm sorry. I didn't know the truth. I didn't know she was trying to protect you. I didn't know. Know what? About your mother. About the letters. About everything. He coughed, blood spilling down his chin. Webb lied to me. He told me you killed her. He told me you were the one who poisoned her. He told me it was revenge for the War. He was using you. The same way he used everyone. I know. I know now. He reached for me, his hand fumbling in the darkness. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. He died. I let him fall and sat back, my shoulder bleeding, my mind racing. That I needed to find Rosa and Lily. I needed to get them out of Queens. I needed to find the truth. And I needed to finish what my mother SDA route. I gathered the evidence from the safe house. Photos, documents, recordings. Everything Webb had been hiding. Everything that proved the truth. Then I made my way to the exit tunnel, an SDA route walking. The tunnel stretched for 1.5 miles beneath the city. I walked it with a bullet in my shoulder and a dead man's blood on my hands. The wound was deep but clean. The kind of wound that would kill you if you didn't get to a doctor within 6 hours. I had 5 left. I emerged through a maintenance grate in the basement of an abandoned church on the Lower East Side. The building had been decommissioned in the 80s, its stained glass windows boa ried up, its pews long since auctioned off. I'd used it as a staging ground for YRS. No one ever came here. No one ever would. I patched myself up as best I could. A field dressing from the medkit I'd stashed behind the altar. A shot of whiskey from the bottle I kept under the floorbow ARDS. Then I pulled out my phone and made the call. Rosa answered on the first ring. Vincent, where are you? Safe. The safe house in Queens is compromised. I need you to take Lily and go to the 2nd A relocation in Brooklyn. The one I told you about. There's no 2nd A relocation in Brooklyn. You never told me. I'm telling you now. Listen, CA Refully. There's a building on Atlantic Avenue. An old Wari house. The code to the gate is 7284. Inside, there's a room. The room has everything you need. Food, water, weapons. Stay there until I come for you. What about you? You're hurt. I can hear it in your voice. I'll be fine. Just get Lily somewhere safe. There was a pause. Then Rosa's voice again, softer this time. Vincent, there's something I need to tell you. Something about your mother's letters. What about them? There's a letter I didn't give you. The last one. It was hidden in a different box. I found it when I was packing. I felt my heart stop. Read it to me. Now. I heard the rustle of paper. Then her voice, trembling. My day rest, Vincent. If you're reading this, then you've found the truth. All of it. And you're probably angry. You're probably hurt. You're probably wondering why I didn't tell you sooner. The truth is, I was SCA Red. Not of the Whitmores. Not of the Russos. Of you. I was SCA Red of what you'd become. I was SCA Red that the world I'd brought you into would turn you into something I didn't recognize. But I need you to know something, Vincent. I need you to know that there is a way out. There is a way to end this. The war, the violence, the bloodshed. It's all been engineered by one man. Webb. He's the one who's been pulling the strings. He's the one who's been keeping the families at war. If you can stop him, you can stop everything. I stopped reading. Rosa's voice was shaking. Vincent, are you still there? I'm here. Webb. Is he dead? I killed him. There was a long silence. Then Rosa spoke again, her voice a relia whisper. Then it's over. It's finally over. No, it's not over. There are still people out there who don't know the truth. People who've been lied to. People who think I'm the enemy. You're not the enemy, Vincent. You never were. I know. But I need to tell them. I need to make them understand. I heard Lily's voice in the background. Mama, is Vincent okay? He's fine, sweet ART. He's coming to see us soon. I smiled despite myself. Tell her I love her. Tell her I'll be there as soon as I can. I will. And Vincent, yeah, BCA refill. I hung up and sat in the darkness of the church, my shoulder throbbing, my mind racing. I had a plan. It was a crazy plan. A plan that would probably get me killed. But it was the only plan I had that I dialed the number I'd been avoiding for years. The direct line to the head of the Russo family that the phone rang 3 times. Then a voice. Who is this? This is Vincent Whitmore. I need to talk to whoever's in Cha RG now that Gabriel's dead. There's no one in Cha RG. The family is in chaos. Then I need to talk to the family. All of them. I need to call a meeting. There was a pause. You want to call a meeting in the middle of a war? The war is over. Tin Webb is dead. He's been playing both sides for YRS. I have proof. Proof, letters, documents, recordings, everything you need to know. Another pause. Then, there's a Warri house in Staten Island. The old Russo compound. Be there at midnight. Come alone. I'll be there. I hung up an STA route making preparations. I gathered everything I needed. The letters, the evidence, the truth that I was going to end this. One way or another, the Warri house was the RK when I arrived. A cavernous space filled with abandoned machinery and the ghosts of 100 deals made and broken. I'd been here once before, years ago, when the war was still young. I'd left with a bullet in my leg and a promise to destroy everyone in the building, but that promise was going to have to wait. I walked to the center of the room and waited. The shadows moved around me, men I couldn't see, watching me with eyes that wanted me dead. Then the lights came on. There were 15 of them. All Russos. All Aramed. All STA ring at me with expressions ranging from suspicion to outright hatred. One of them stepped four-way road. An older man, white-haired, with a face that looked like it had been saved from granite. Vincent Whitmore, he said. You have a lot of nerve showing up here. I need to talk to you. All of you. About what? I pulled out the letters. About the truth. About what really happened. About the war. I told them everything. My mother's story. Webb's conspiracy. The YRS of manipulation and lies. I showed them the documents, the recordings, the proof. When I was done, the room was silent. That the older man spoke again. You expect us to believe this? You expect us to believe that the man who's been trying to destroy us for 20 YRS is actually on our side? I'm not on your side. I'm not on anyone's side. I'm on the side of the truth. And the truth is, we've all been played. We've all been manipulated. And the man who did it is dead. Then what do you want? I looked at him. I want to end the war. I want to make peace. I want to build something better than what we've had. You want to be allies after everything? I want to be family. Because that's what we are. All of us. We're family. And we've been killing each other for too long. The room was silent again. Then the older man laughed. You're crazy. You know that you're absolutely crazy. Maybe. But I'm not wrong. He looked at me for a long moment. Then he nodded. Fine. We'll talk. But if this is a trap. It's not. I give you my word. His eyes met mine. Your word. The word of a Whitmore. No. The word of a Russo. Because that's what I am. He STA read at me. Then he extended his hand. Then welcome home, brother. I took his hand. And for the first time in 20 years, I felt like I was exactly where I was supposed to be. The negotiations took 6 months. 6 months of meetings, arguments, compromises. 6 months of Leah reneging to trust the people I'd been taught to hate. But in the end, we reached a deal. A new era. A new beginning. And when it was done, I went to find Rosa and Lily. They were waiting for me in the safe house in Brooklyn. Lily was bigger now, her hair longer, her smile brighter. She ran to me the moment I walked through the door. Vincent, you came back. Of course I came back. I told you I would. I missed you. Mama missed you too. She cried every night. I looked at Rosa. She was watching me with the same expression I'd seen on her face 100 times. That mixture of hope and fear. That quiet strength. Lily, I said, can you go to your room for a minute? I need to talk to your mother. She nodded and ran off. I turned to Rosa. I've been thinking, I said, about the future, about what happens next. What happens next? I'm going to make things right. I'm going to rebuild the empire. But I'm going to do it differently this time. No more violence. No more bloodshed. Just business. Just family. That sounds like a good plan. It's not just a plan. It's a promise. And I want you to be part of it. Her eyes widened. Vincent, you're not just anything. You're the most important person in my life. You and Lily. You're my family. And I want you to stay. With me. Forever. She looked at me for a long moment. Then she smiled. I'd like that, she said. I'd like that very much. And for the first time in my life, I felt like everything was going to be okay. The wedding was supposed to be a small affair. Just family. Just the people who mattered. I stood in front of the mirror in my study, adjusting the cufflinks Rosa had given me for my birthday, and tried to remember the last time I'd felt this nervous. It had been decades. Probably never. You look like you're about to face a firing squad, Rio said from the doorway. It's a wedding, sir. Not a hit. Feels like a hit. A hit on my freedom. He laughed. You've been running from this moment for 6 months. Now that it's here, you're red, terrified. I turned to face him. I've faced down Hermes. I've survived explosions. But this is different. Rio walked over and straightened my tie. You love her. She loves you. The girl loves you. It's going to be fine. What if I mess it up? What if I'm not good enough for them? Then you'll try rider. That's what you do. That's who you are. I looked at him. When did you get so wise? About the time you root paying me enough to afford therapy. I laughed. Fair enough. The ceremony was in the Garden. The same Garden where Lily had planted her marigolds. The same Garden where the bomb had gone off and changed everything. It had been rebuilt. The koi pond was back. The topia rise were back. The flowers were in full bloom. And at the end of the aisle, standing under a canopy of white roses, was Rosa. She was beautiful. More beautiful than I'd ever seen her. Her dress was simple, ivory silk that fell to her ankles. Her hair was loose, the same RK curls that had caught my eye that first night in the ballroom. She was wearing a necklace I'd given her, a small diamond pendant, the only diamond she'd ever accepted from me. You look stunning, I said when I reached her. You look terrified, she replied. I am terrified. I've never done this before. Neither have I. We'll figure it out together. The ceremony was short. The vows were simple. I promised to protect her. She promised to stand by me. Lily stood next to us, holding a small bouquet of daisies, her eyes wide with wonder. When it was done, I kissed her. And for the first time in my life, I felt complete. The reception was in the manor house, the same one that had been gutted by the explosion. It had been rebuilt, too, better than before. The chandeliers were new. The marble floor was polished. The champagne was flowing. I stood in the corner, watching the guests. The Russos were there. The Whitmores were there. For the first time in decades, they were in the same room, laughing, talking, dancing. The war was over. The healing had begun. Lily ran up to me, her dress stained with cake frosting. Vincent, can I have more cake? Didn't you just have cake? I want more. I laughed and would pet her up. All right, but this is the last piece. Promise. I ride her to the cake table and handed her another slice. She ate it with the single-minded focus that only children possess. Mama says you're going to be my dad now, she said, her mouth full of frosting. I paused. She said you were going to be my family. And that family is the most important thing. I looked over at Rosa, who was across the room, talking to Rio. She caught my eye and smiled. The same smile that had made my heart stop the first time I'd seen it. Your mother's right, I said. Family is the most important thing. And you're my family now. Both of you. Does that mean I can call you Dad? I felt my throat tighten. If you want to. She nodded seriously. Okay, I'll think about it. I kissed her forehead and set her down. She ran off to find more cake. The night wore on. The guests began to leave. The staff began to clear the tables. Rosa and I stood in the Garden, watching the stars come out. Are you happy? She asked. I'm happier than I've ever been. Good. Because I'm happy too. I turned to her. There's something I need to tell you. Something I've been keeping from you. Her face tensed. What is it? Your mother. The letters. There's something I didn't tell you. What? I took her hands. Your mother wasn't just a maid. She was a Russo. She was my mother's sister. She was part of the family. Rosa read at me. That's impossible. My mother was from Guatemala. She was poor. She never told you because she was trying to protect you. The same way my mother was trying to protect me. The Russos and the Whitmores were at war. She didn't want you to be caught in the middle. I could see the wheels turning in her head. The of silence. The secrets. The lies. Your mother, I continued, was the one who hid the letters. She was the one who found them after my mother died. She kept them safe all those years, waiting for the right moment. Rosa's eyes were wet. She never told me. She never said anything. She was trying to protect you. She loved you. She wanted you to have a normal life. A normal life. She wanted me to be a maid. She wanted you to be safe. And she succeeded. You survived. Lily survived. I survived. All because of her. Rosa was crying now. I pulled her into my ARMS. I'm sorry, I said. I'm sorry you had to find out this way. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. It's not your fault. It's none of this your fault. It doesn't matter whose fault it is. What matters is that we're together. All of us. The family. She looked up at me. The family, the Russos. The Whitmores. You. Lily. Me. We're all family now. And we're going to stay that way. She kissed me. A long, slow kiss that tasted like TRS and champagne. I love you. She said, I love you too. Later that night, after the guests had gone and the staff had left, I found myself in the study. The same study where I'd found the letters. The same study where I'd read the truth about my mother. I sat at the desk and pulled out the last letter. The one Rosa had read to me over the phone. My dearest Vincent. If you're reading this, then you've found the truth. All of it. And you're probably angry. You're probably hurt. You're probably wondering why I didn't tell you sooner. But I want you to know one thing. I love you. I have always loved you. And I will always love you. No matter what happens. No matter what you've done. You are my son. My only son. And I am so proud of you. I read the letter 3 times. Then I folded it and put it away. I walked to the window and looked out at the garden. The marigolds were still there. The ones Lily had planted. They were growing strong, their orange petals catching the moonlight. The war was over. The empire was rebuilding. The family was whole. For the first time in my life, everything was exactly as it should be. I went to bed that night with Rosa in my ARMS and Lily asleep in the room next door. I dreamed of my mother. Not the way she'd been at the end, sick and pale and fading. The way she'd been before, young and beautiful and full of hope. She was smiling at me. Thank you, she said. Thank you for finishing what I wrote. I didn't finish it, I said. I'm still working on it. You will. I know you will. Because you're stronger than you think. You've always been stronger than you think. When I woke up, the sun was streaming through the windows. Rosa was still asleep beside me, her hair spread across the pillow. I got up and walked to the window. The garden was bathed in gold. The marigolds were blooming. The birds were singing. I'd done it. I'd survived. I'd found my family. I'd found my peace. And I was never going to let it go. The morning after the wedding, I woke to the sound of screaming. Not the kind of screaming that comes from nightmare residential or bad dreams. The kind that comes from terror. From something real. I was out of bed before my eyes were fully open, my hand already reaching for the gun I kept under the pillow. Rosa was beside me, her eyes wide, her breath coming in short gasps. Lily, she said. It's Lily. I was already running. The hallway was dark, the lights still off from the night before. I could hear Lily's voice from the other end of the corridor, high and RP, and filled with a fia, or I'd never heard in her before. I burst through the door of her room and stopped cold. Lily was standing on her bed, her back pressed against the wall, her small hands covering her face. In the corner of the room, there was a man I recognized. Michael Russo, Gabriel's son, the man who'd shot me in the safe house. I'd killed him. I'd watched him die in the safe house. I'd felt his blood on my hands. But here he was, standing in my daughter's room, a knife in his hand and a smile on his face. Vincent Whitmore, he said. I thought you'd be here. You're dead, I said. I killed you. You killed a decoy, a man I paid to take my place. I've been watching you for months, waiting for the right moment. I raised my gun. You're not going to hurt her. I'm not going to hurt her. Not yet. But I will if you don't listen. Listen to what? The truth. The real truth. About your mother. About the war. About everything. I already know the truth. You know what Tin Webb told you. You know what the letters told you. But you don't know everything. Not yet. I kept the gun trained on him. Then tell me. He smiled. Your mother didn't die of cancer. She didn't die of poison. She was murdered. Not by Tin Webb. Not by the Whitmores. By me. I felt the world tilt. You're lying. I'm not. She was going to expose everything. She was going to tell you the truth about the families. About the deal your father had made with the Russos to end the war 20 years ago. She was going to tell you that the peace treaty your father signed was a lie, a fake, and that the only way to keep it from coming out was to silence her. My hands were shaking. You were a child. You couldn't have. I was 15. Old enough to do what needed to be done. Old enough to understand that some secrets a worth killing for. I stepped forward, the gun steady again. You killed my mother. You killed an innocent woman. Your mother wasn't innocent. She was a traitor. She was going to destroy everything. The families. The peace. The balance of power. I did what I had to do. You did what you were told. You were a puppet. He laughed. Maybe I was. But I'm not anymore. Now I'm the one pulling the strings. Lily was still crying, her small body trembling against the wall. I could see Rosa in the doorway now, her face pale, her eyes locked on her daughter. Let her go, I said. She's a child. She's innocent. She's not innocent. She's the reason I'm here. The reason I'm alive. The reason the families still at WA are. What are you talking about? He pulled a piece of paper from his pocket and tossed it to me. I caught it with one hand, the gun still trained on him. It was a photograph. Old, faded, the edges curled with age. A picture of a woman I didn't recognize. A woman with dark hair and dark eyes and a smile that was hauntingly familiar. Your mother, Michael said. Your real mother. Not Maria. Not the maid who raised you. The real Maria Whitmore. ISDA read at the photograph. That's not possible. Maria Whitmore died in 1972. She did. But not before she had a child. A daughter. Your sister. I felt the blood drain from my face. Sister, she was taken by the Russos. Raised as one of them. She's the one who's been running the family all along. Not Gabriel. Not the man you killed in the safe house. Her. Who is she? Michael smiled. You've met her. She's been there the whole time. Watching. Waiting. I looked at the photograph again. The woman's eyes, her smile, the curve of her jaw. And then I saw it to Rosa. I turned to look at her. She was still in the doorway, her face pale, her eyes wide. But there was something different about her now. Something I'd never noticed before. Vincent, she said, her voice a whisper. I can explain. But she didn't explain. She just stood there, frozen, her eyes locked on the photograph in my hand. And I realized the truth, the woman I'd married. The woman I'd trusted with my life. The woman I'd loved. She was my sister. I lowered the gun. My hands were shaking so badly I could hold it. Rosa, I said. Tell me it's not true. Tell me he's lying. She opened her mouth. Closed it. Opened it again. I can't, she said. I can't tell you that. The room spun. I put my hand on the wall to steady myself. The letters, I said. The letters my mother left. You found them. You read them. You knew the truth this whole time. I did. I knew the truth. And I was going to tell you. I swear. I just needed to find the right moment. You ride me. You ride your own brother. She flinched. I didn't know. Not until I read the letters. I swear to you, Vincent, I didn't know. Michael laughed again. She's lying. She's known for yours. She's been waiting for the right moment to destroy you. To take everything you've built and use it to rebuild the Russo Empire. I looked at Rosa. At her eyes, her face, her hands. Vincent, she said. I love you. I love Lily. I would never, you would never lie to me. You already did. You've been lying to me since the day we met. The room was silent. Lily was still crying. Her small body curled into a ball on the bed. And then Michael moved. He lunged for Lily, the knife raised. I fired twice, both shots hitting him in the chest. He fell to the ground, his body twitching once. Then still. I ran to Lily and gathered her in my arms. She was shaking, crying, her small hands clutching my shirt. It's okay, I said. It's okay. I've got you. You're safe. Rosa was still in the doorway. I looked at her. This woman I'd loved. This woman I'd trusted. Get out, I said. Get out now. Vincent, get out. I don't want to see you. I don't want to hear your voice. I want you gone. She left. I heard her footsteps in the hallway. Fading away. I sat there in the darkness, holding Lily, trying to make sense of what had just happened. The woman I'd married. The woman I'd loved. She was my sister. And she'd known. She'd known this whole time. The letters. The secrets. The lies. That everything I believed was a lie. Everything I thought I knew was a lie. The family I'd built. The peace I'd created. All of it based on a foundation of betrayal. I looked at the photograph still in my hand. My mother. The real M.A. Rio Whitmore. The woman who died in 1972. The woman who'd given birth to Rosa. My sister. I wanted to scream. I wanted to break something. I wanted to find Rosa and make her tell me why. Why she'd done this. Why she'd lied. But I couldn't. Because Lily was in my ARMS. And she needed me. So I held her. And I waited. And I tried to figure out what to do next. Lily fell asleep in my ARMS 2 hours after Rosa left. Her small body finally gave out, the terror and exhaustion pulling her under. I see A ride her to her bed and tucked her in, then sat in the chair by the window, watching the sun come up over the Garden. The marigolds were still there, bright orange against the green, but they didn't look the same anymore. Nothing did. I stayed there until she woke up. She looked at me with those big dark eyes and asked where her mother was. I told her the truth. Not all of it. Just the part that a 5-year-old could understand. Mama had to go away for a while. She would come back when she could. Lily nodded like she understood. Maybe she did. Children were always SMA ruder than we gave them credit for. I fed her breakfast, then called M.A. Rio. He arrived within the hour, his face grim when he saw the body in Lily's room. Michael Russo, he said. I thought you killed him. Decoy. This one was real. I made sure of it. M.A. Rio knelt beside the body, checking for identification. He was the one who shot you in the safe house. The one who said he was your brother. Half-brother. And he was telling the truth. He was my father's son. Gabriel's too. Somehow, M.A. Rio looked at me. Sir, what happened with Rosa? Where is she gone? I told her to leave. Why? I told him. Every word of it. The photograph. Michael's confession. The truth about Rosa's mother. When I finished, M.A. Rio's face was pale. Sir, that's impossible. The timeline doesn't work. M.A. Rio Whitmore died in 72. Rosa is in her EARLY 30s. That would have made her a baby, an infant. The Russos took her. They raised her. They kept her hidden until they needed her. I looked at the photograph in my hand. She was the perfect weapon, a Trojan horse. They knew I'd never suspect her. But she saved your life. She saved Lily. She was doing what she was told. The Russos planned everything. The bombing. The letters. The way she found them at exactly the right moment. They knew I'd fall for it. M.A. Rio was silent for a long moment. Then, what do you want to do? I want to find her. I want to make her tell me the truth. All of it. And Lily, what about Lily? I looked at the child sleeping in the bed. She stays with me. I'm not letting her out of my sight. We found Rosa 2 days later. She was in the old Russo compound in Staten Island, the same place I'd called the meeting that had ended the war. She was sitting in the same room where I'd negotiated the peace, surrounded by the same men who'd sworn to protect her. M.A. Rio and I walked in her bed. It was a risk, but it was the only way she'd talk to me. She'd never talked to a man holding a weapon. Vincent, she said when she saw me. I knew you'd come. I had to. I need to know why. Why I lied to you, why I married you when I knew you were my brother, yes. All of it. She took a deep breath. I didn't know at first. I swear to you. I didn't know until I read the letters. The ones your mother left. I found them in the basement, the same night you did. But I didn't tell you about the photograph. I didn't tell you about the other box. Because you were trying to protect yourself. No. Because I was trying to protect you. I knew what would happen if you found out the truth. I knew you'd hate me. I knew you'd try to destroy me. Did you love me at all? Her eyes filled with tears. Yes. I loved you. I still love you. I love Lily. I love everything about our life together. Even though we're related, even though. She reached for my hand. I let her take it. Vincent, I didn't choose this. I didn't choose to be born into this family. I didn't choose to be used as a pawn. But I did choose you. I chose you from the moment we met. I pulled my hand away. That doesn't change what happened. I know. But I wanted you to hear it from me. I wanted you to know the truth. All of it. Then tell me the rest. Tell me everything. She told me. About her childhood, raised by the Russos, isolated and controlled. About the day they told her who she really was. About the plan to infiltrate my household, to gain my trust, to become my wife. And about the moment she'd realized she'd fallen in love with me. The moment everything had changed. I knew it was wrong, she said. I knew it was impossible. But I couldn't stop feeling the way I felt. I couldn't stop wanting you. You should have told me. From the beginning. I should have. But I was SCA red. I was SCA red of losing you. I was SCA red of losing Lily. I was SCA red of everything. I looked at her. This woman I'd loved. This woman I'd trusted. She was crying now, the TRS streaming down her face. I can't do this, I said. I can't be with you. Not after everything. I know. I understand. But please, Vincent, please don't take Lily away from me. She's all I have left. Lily stays with me. She's safer with me. No, she's safer with both of us. She needs her mother. She needs me. She needs the truth. And the truth is, you lied to her. You lied to all of us. I turned to leave. Rosa called after me. Vincent, wait. There's something you need to know. Something about your mother. The real M.A. Rio Whitmore. I stopped. What about her? She didn't die in 1972. She's still alive. I turned back. That's impossible. Everyone knows she died. There was a funeral. A grave. Both were fakes. The Russos took her. They've been holding her prisoner for 50 years. She knows everything. She knows the truth about the families, the treaties, the lies. She's been waiting for someone to find her. Where is she? Rosa shook her head. I don't know. They never told me. But I know someone who does. Who? Your father. The real one. Antonio Russo. He's still alive too. ISTA read at her. You're lying. I'm not. He's been in hiding since the 70s. He's the one who's been running the Russo family all along. He's the one who gave the orders. He's the one who wanted me to RRYU. I felt the world tilt again. Antonio Russo. The man who'd fathered me. The man who'd abandoned my mother. The man who'd STA root this whole night. Where is he? I don't know. But I can help you find him. If you let me see Lily. Just for an hour. Just to say goodbye. I looked at her. This woman I'd loved. This woman who'd been my sister. 1 hour, I said. And then you're gone. Forever. She nodded. 1 hour. I promise. I turned and walked out of the room. M.A. Rio followed. His face unreadable. What now? He asked. We find my father. And we find my mother. And we end this. Once and for all. The hour Rosa spent with Lily was the longest hour of my life. I stood in the hallway outside the room where she'd brought her, listening to the murmur of voices through the door. Lily's laughter. Rosa's soft words. The sound of a family that was never going to be whole again. When Rosa came out, her eyes were red and her face was pale. She looked at me like she was looking at a ghost. She's beautiful, Rosa said. She's going to be a wonderful person. And she's going to have a wonderful life. Because of you. Because of both of us, I said. No matter what happened, she is both of us. Rosa nodded. I gave her the address. The one where Antonio Russo is hiding. It's in the Catskills. An old hunting lodge that's been in the family for generations. He's been there since the 70s. He's been waiting for someone to find him. Why didn't you tell me before? Because I was SCA red. Because I knew what would happen when you found him. I knew you'd want to kill him. Don't I have the right? He's your father. He's the only family you have left. He's not my family. He's a monster. He abandoned my mother. He abandoned me. He made me fight a war that was never mine to fight. Rosa reached out and touched my hand. I know, but you need to hear his side. You need to know the whole truth. I pulled my hand away. I know the truth. I know he's been hiding for 50 years while everyone else died for him. Then go find him. Find him and ask him why. Ask him what he was thinking. And then decide what to do. I looked at her. What about you? Where will you go? I don't know. I'll find somewhere. Somewhere far from here. Somewhere I can start over. Lily will miss you. I'll miss her too. But I'll come back. When it's safe. When things are different. I nodded. Go. Before I change my mind. She left. I watched her walk down the hallway and disappear round the corner. Then I went to find Lily. She was sitting on the bed, her legs crossed, a small smile on her face. Mama said she has to go away for a while, Lily said. She said she'll come back when she can. She will. I promise. Are you sad? Vincent, yeah. I'm sad. Me too. But Mama said we have to be brave. She said you need us to be brave. I sat down beside her. Your mother's right. We do have to be brave. We have to be strong. For each other. Lily nodded. Okay. I'll be brave. But can I have some cake first? I laughed. Sure, kid. You can have all the cake you want. The Catskills were cold in late October. The leaves had turned brown and orange and red, repeating the ground in layers of decay. The hunting lodge was at the end of a winding dirt road, surrounded by trees so thick I could see the sky. M.A. Rio and I approached on foot, our guns drawn, our eyes scanning the shadows. The lodge was old, wooden, its paint peeling and its windows boa-ried up. It looked abandoned. It looked like no one had lived there in Yares. But there was smoke rising from the chimney. I knocked on the door. There was no answer. I knocked again. Antonio Russo, I called. I know you're in there. I need to talk to you. Silence. Then a voice, thin and reedy, like a dry leaf rustling in the wind. Come in. I pushed open the door. The inside of the lodge was dark, the windows covered with heavy curtains. There was a fire in the Heir, its flames casting dancing shadows across the walls. And in the center of the room, sitting in an old Aram chair, was a man. He was ancient. His face was lined with wrinkles, his hair white and thin. His hands were red with age, trembling slightly as they rested on the arms of the chair. But his eyes were sharp bright, watching me the way a hawk watches a mouse. Vincent, he said, I've been waiting for you. You knew I'd come. I knew you'd find out eventually. I knew the truth would come out. It always does. I walked toward him, my gun still drawn. You're my father. The man who abandoned my mother. The man who root this war. I'm the man who tried to end it, he said. But I failed. I failed because I was weak. I failed because I was afraid. Afraid of what? Afraid of losing everything. The families. The peace. The future. He looked at me with those sharp eyes. I loved your mother. I loved her more than anything. But I couldn't protect her. I couldn't protect any of you. So I ran. I hid. I let others do the fighting. You let others die for you. Yes. And I've regretted it every day. Every single day for 50 years. I lowered my gun. Why did you do it? Why did you leave her? Because I had no choice. The Whitmores were going to kill her. They were going to kill all of us. The only way to save her was to disap Heir, to make them think I was dead. You could have taken her with you. She wouldn't come. She wouldn't leave you. She said you were more important than anything. She said she'd rather die than abandon her child. I felt my throat tighten. She died protecting me. Yes. And I've had to live with that my whole life. I've had to live with the knowledge that I couldn't save her. That I couldn't save any of you. I stood there looking at him. This broken old man. This ghost of a father. He was everything I'd hated and everything I'd wanted to be. I need to know the truth, I said. The whole truth. About the families. About the war. About everything. He nodded slowly. I'll tell you everything. But first, you need to know something. Something about your mother. Something I've never told anyone. What is it? She's not dead. She's been in hiding this whole time. Just like me. I felt my heart stop. Where? In the city. In a building I own. I've been protecting her all these years. Keeping her safe from the Whitmores. Keeping her safe from everyone. Even from me, especially from you. She was afraid of what you'd become. She was afraid you'd hate her for leaving. I don't hate her. I could never hate her. He smiled, a sad, tired smile. I know. That's why I'm telling you now. That's why I'm letting you find her. He pulled a piece of paper from his pocket and handed it to me. An address. In the city. Go, he said. Find her. And when you do, tell her I'm sorry. Tell her I love her. Tell her I'm still waiting. I looked at the address, then back at him. What about you? What are you going to do? I'm going to stay here. I'm going to wait. And when it's over, I'm going to find a way to make things right. Things can't be made right. Too much has happened. He nodded. I know, but I have to try. For your mother. For you. For all of us. I tucked the address into my pocket and turned to leave. Vincent, he called after me. BCA refill. There are still people out there who want you dead. People who don't want the truth to come out. I know, but I'm not afraid. I walked out into the cold October air, the address burning a hole in my pocket. M.A. Rio fell in a step beside me. Sir, are you sure about this? It could be a trap. It's not a trap. He's telling the truth. I can feel it. And if he's not, then I'll deal with that when it happens. We drove back to the city in silence. The address Antonio Russo had given me was in a part of Brooklyn I'd never been to before. An old neighborhood, filled with brownstones and narrow streets and the kind of quiet that only came with age. The building was at the end of a cul-de-sac. A 3-story brownstone with a wrought iron fence and a door that had been painted a faded shade of blue. I walked up the steps and knocked. The door opened. And standing there, her hair streaked with gray, her face lined with time, was a woman I'd never seen before. She was my mother. Vincent, she said, her voice trembling. I knew you'd come. I couldn't speak. I could be a rely breathe. This woman, this ghost, this memory. She was real. She was alive. Mom, I said. I found you. She reached out and touched my face, her hand soft and warm against my cheek. You found me. You finally found me. We stood there, mother and son, the YRS melting away like snow in the spring. And for the first time in my life, I felt like I was home as she led me inside. The brownstone was small, cluttered with the kind of things a woman collects over 50 YRS of hiding. Books on every surface, photographs in silver frames. A cat that wound itself around my ankles and purred like it had known me all my life. She sat me down in a worn A-room chair and made tea, her hands steady despite the tremor in her voice. Your father told me you'd come, she said. He called ahead. He said you'd found the letters. He said you knew the truth. Not all of it. Not yet. She sat across from me, her cup cradled in her hands. Then ask me. Ask me anything. Why did you leave? Why did you let me think you were dead? She looked down at her tea. Because I had no choice. The Russos were going to kill you. They'd already killed your father, the man you knew as Vincent Whitmore Sr. They were going to kill me too. The only way to protect you was to disap AR, to make them think I was gone. But you came back. You wrote the letters. You tried to find me. Your father found me first. Antonio. He told me what the Russos had done. He told me you were still alive. He said we had to work together to keep you safe. Work together, you and Antonio. She looked up at me, her eyes wet. We were in love, Vincent. Your father and I. The real one. We were going to run away together. But the Russos found us. They killed him. They took me. They made me Ma RRY Vincent Whitmore Sr. because they needed a Whitmore heir to control the families. So you did it. You Ma ride a man you didn't love because you were afraid. I was terrified. I was 17 years old. I didn't have a choice. I couldn't fight them. I could only survive. I was silent for a long moment. Then, Antonio said he's been hiding. He said he's been protecting you all these years. He has. He's the only reason I'm alive. He's the only reason any of us are alive. But he didn't come for you. He didn't try to rescue you. He couldn't. The Russos would have killed him. They would have killed all of us. He did the only thing he could do. He hid. He waited. He planned. I stood up, pacing the room. 50 years. 50 years of hiding. 50 years of waiting. And now he wants to make things right. He wants to try. He wants to make amends. For everything he couldn't do. Too little, too late. She stood up too, crossing to me. Vincent, I know you're angry. I know you're hurt. But you have to understand. We did what we thought was best. We tried to protect you. By lying to me, by making me think I was a Whitmore, by turning me into a weapon, yes. Because we thought that was the only way to keep you alive. We thought that if you were raised as a Whitmore, you'd be safe. You'd be powerful. You'd be able to protect yourself. I looked at her. This woman, my mother, who'd given everything for me. I'm not angry, I said. I'm tired. I'm tired of the lies. I'm tired of the secrets. I'm tired of fighting. She touched my face again. I know. I'm tired too. But we can't stop. Not yet. There's something you need to know. Something about the families. Something that changes everything. What is it? She led me to a desk in the corner of the room. She opened a drawer and pulled out a leather-bound book. Old, worn, filled with the same cramped handwriting I'd seen in the letters. This is your father's journal, she said. Antonio's. He kept it for 50 years. He wrote down everything. Every secret. Every lie. Every truth. I opened it. The first entry was dated 1972. The year my mother was supposed to have died. I've lost her. I've lost everything. Ria is gone. The Russos took her. They're going to kill her if I don't do what they say. I have to disap AR. I have to hide. I have to wait for the right moment. I flipped four-way road. 1985. Vincent is 16. He's already killing. He's already doing what they want. I watch him from a distance. I see the monster they're making. And I hate myself for not being there to stop it. 1995. Vincent is 26. He's taken over the empire. He's doing what I couldn't. He's fighting the Russos. He's winning. I'm so proud of him. And so ashamed. Xinghao. I found Ria. She's alive. She's been in hiding all these years. I didn't know. I thought she was dead. I've been living with the guilt for 30 years. And now I find out she's been alive the whole time. I don't know whether to laugh or cry. 2015. Vincent is 36. He's my ride Celeste. He's on top of the world. And I know what's coming. I know the Russos are going to strike. I've seen the plans. I've read the documents. I've tried to wire in him, but he won't listen. He doesn't know who I am. Asterisk. Asterisk 2020. I found the letters. The ones Immersive left for him. I've read them. I know the truth. And I'm going to tell him. I'm going to make things right. I'm going to give him the journal. I'm going to let him make his own choice. Asterisk the last entry was dated 2 weeks ago. Asterisk Vincent is coming. He's found the letters. He's found the truth. And I'm afraid. I'm afraid of what he'll do. I'm afraid of what he'll become. But I'm also hopeful. Because he's my son. He's my blood. And I believe in him. Asterisk, I closed the journal. My hands were shaking. He's been waiting for you, my mother said. He's been waiting for you to find him. To read this. To know the truth. What does he want me to do? He wants you to finish what he sta root. To end the war. To bring peace to the families. To build something new. Something new, yes. A new empire. A new era. A new world where the families can live in peace. I looked at her. This woman, my mother, who'd given up everything for me. I don't know if I can, I said. I don't know if I'm the right person. You've always been. You're the one who stopped the war. You're the one who brought the families together. You're the one who saved Lily. I thought about Lily. About Rosa. About the family we'd built and the family we'd lost. I have a daughter, I said. A little girl. She's not mine by blood, but she's mine. And I need to protect her. I need to make sure she's safe. She is safe. She's with Immersive. She's in a place where no one can find her. How do you know that? My mother smiled. Because I've been watching. I've been watching all of you. I know where she is. I know what she's doing. And I know that she's going to be a wonderful person. Because of you. I sat down heavily. The journal still in my hands. I need to see him, I said. I need to see Antonio. I need to talk to him. Face to face. He's waiting for you. He's been waiting for years. I looked at her. Will you come with me? She hesitated. Then she nodded, yes. I'll come with you. It's time we did this together. As a family. We left the brownstone together, my mother and I, stepping out into the cold October air. The cat watched us from the window, its eyes bright and curious that we drove to the Catskills in silence. The trees were now, the leaves gone, the branches reaching up like skeletons against the gray sky. The lodge was still there, still standing, still smoking. Antonio was waiting for us at the door. He looked older than he had before, more tired, more broken. But his eyes were still sharp. Still bright. Immersive, he said, his voice cracking. You came. I came, she said. It's time we finished this. They embraced, these two old people who'd been apart for 50 years. I stood back and watched, feeling like an intruder in my own life. I'm sorry, Antonio said to her. I'm so sorry for everything. I know. I'm sorry too. They pulled apart and turned to me. Vincent, Antonio said. I have something to show you. Something I've been keeping for 50 years. He led us into the lodge and down a narrow staircase to the basement. The room was small, cold, filled with boxes and crates. In the center of the room, there was a safe. He knelt down and opened it. Inside, there were documents. Hundreds of them. Old, yellowed, crumbling with age. This is the truth, he said. This is everything. The treaties, the agreements, the betrayals. Every secret the families have ever kept. I looked at the documents. They were the history of my life. The history of everything I'd ever known. What do you want me to do with them? I want you to destroy them. All of them. I want you to start over. I want you to build something new. I looked at my mother. She nodded. Destroy them, she said. End it. Once and for all. I reached into the safe and pulled out the first document. It was dated 1972. The year everything had sta root. I held it over the flame of the lantern that sat on the floor. It caught fire, curling at the edges, turning to ash. I felt lighter, freer, like a weight I'd been carrying my whole life was finally falling away. When the last document was gone, I turned to them. It's over, I said. It's finally over. Antonio nodded. Yes, it's over. And now we can begin again. We left the Catskills at dawn. The sky was gray, the color of old stone, and the trees were against the horizon. My mother sat in the back seat of the car, her hands folded in her lap, staring out the window like she'd never seen the world before. Antonio rode beside me, his ancient frame slumped against the door. I drove without speaking. There was nothing left to say. The documents were ash. The secrets were gone. What remained was just us, 3 broken people trying to find a way 4-way road. We need to go back to the city, Antonio said finally. There are things we have to do. People we have to see. Like who? The families. The ones who've been running things since I disappay red. They need to know the truth. They need to know it's over. And you think they'll listen? They've been fighting for 50 years. They'll listen because they have no choice. The war is over. The weapons are gone. The money is gone. They have nothing left to fight for. I looked at him. He was old and tired, but there was something in his eyes. Something I hadn't seen before. Hope. You really believe that? I said. You really think they'll just stop? I have to believe it. Because if I don't, then everything I've done, the hiding, the lying, the waiting, it was all for nothing. My mother leaned 4-way RD from the back seat. He's right, Vincent. The families retired. They've been fighting for so long they've forgotten what they were fighting for. If you give them a way out, they'll take it. What about the Russos? Gabriel's men? They won't just lay down their arms. They will. Because Gabriel's dead. And the man who's been running the family since he died, he's not one of them. He's a puppet. He does what he's told. And I can tell him to stop. I looked at him again. You've been running the Russos this whole time, not running. Influencing. I've been the one pulling the strings, making sure they didn't destroy themselves. I've been the one keeping them from doing something stupid. And you didn't think to tell me. All those years, when I was fighting them, when I was killing them, you didn't think to tell me we were on the same side. Antonio's face crumpled. I couldn't. If I'd told you the truth, they would have killed you. They would have killed Amaria. They would have killed everyone I loved. I had to stay in the shadows. I had to protect you. You protected me by letting me become a killer. I protected you by making sure you survived. Everything else, the blood, the violence, the war, that was your choice. You chose to be the man you are. I wanted to argue. I wanted to scream at him, to tell him he was wrong, that he'd stolen my life, my future, my peace. But I couldn't, because he was right. I'd made my own choices. I'd chosen to become the monster I was. And now I had to live with that. We drove the rest of the way in silence. When we reached the city, Antonio directed me to a building in the financial district. A skyscraper, all glass and steel, the kind of place where billionaires made deals and broke lives. The Russo family headquarters, he said. They've been operating out of here for years. I've been using it as my base. I thought you were hiding in the Catskills. That's what I wanted everyone to think. But I've been here the whole time, running things from the shadows. We got out of the car and walked into the building. The lobby was marbly, gleaming, filled with men in suits who nodded respectfully at Antonio. As we passed, they knew him. They'd always known him. We took the elevator to the top floor. The office there was massive, a corner suite with views of the city and a desk that had to cost more than most people made in a lifetime. Behind the desk sat a man I recognized. Michael's second in command, the one who'd been running the family in his absence. He was young, rely 30, with cold eyes and a smile that didn't reach them. Mr. Russo, he said, standing. I was wondering when you'd come back. Dominic, Antonio said. I need you to call a meeting. All the family heads. Whitmores and Russos. Everyone. Dominic's eyes flickered to me. And him, what's he doing here? He's with me. He's part of the family now. Dominic laughed. Part of the family. He's the enemy. He's been killing our people for years. I know what he's been doing. And I also know why. But that's over now. The war is over. We're going to make peace. Dominic's smile faded. Peace with the Whitmores after everything they've done, after everything we've done too. It's been 50 years, Dominic. 50 years of killing and dying. It's time to stop. Dominic looked at me, his eyes harrowed. And what does he think about that? Does he want peace? I stepped 4-way road. I want to see my daughter. I want to see Lily. I want to know she's safe. Dominic's face went pale. Lily, the girl, yes. The girl. Where is she? He looked at Antonio. You didn't tell him. Tell me what? I demanded. Antonio's face was ashen. Vincent, I need you to stay calm. What did you do? Where is she? She's safe. I swear to you, she's safe. But she's not with Rio. She's not in the safe house. Where is she? Antonio took a deep breath. She's with Rosa. I sent Rosa to get her. I thought it was the safest place for her. I felt the world tilt. Rosa, you sent my daughter to Rosa. She's her mother. She has a right to see her. And I thought, you thought you could just decide what's best for my family. You thought you could take my daughter and give her to the woman who lied to me. Vincent, I'm sorry. I was trying to protect her. The Russos were closing in. I had to get her somewhere safe. I turned to Dominic. Where did you send them? Dominic shook his head. I don't know. Antonio arranged it. He's the only one who knows. I grabbed Antonio by the collar of his jacket. Tell me where they are. He looked at me, his eyes full of guilt and fear. They're in the Catskills. In a safe house I built years ago. It's NEA, the lodge. I thought it was the safest place. I let him go. You thought you could just take her. You thought you could just. I couldn't finish the sentence. The anger was too much, the betrayal too deep. I'm going to get her, I said. And when I come back, we're going to have a long talk about Bounday Rise. I turned and walked out of the office. I could hear Antonio calling after me, but I didn't stop. I didn't look back. The drive to the Catskills took 3 hours. I made it in 2. The safe house was where Antonio said it would be, a small cabin hidden in the trees, smoke rising from its chimney. I walked up to the door and knocked. It opened. Rosa was standing there, her face pale, her eyes red. Vincent, she said. I knew you'd come. Where's Lily? She's inside. She's sleeping. She's fine. I pushed past her and walked into the cabin. Lily was lying on a small bed in the corner, her face peaceful, her chest rising and falling with each breath. I knelt beside her and touched her hair. She stirred, her eyes fluttering, opened. Vincent, she said sleepily. Are you here to take me home? Yes, sweetheart. I'm here to take you home. She smiled and closed her eyes again. I picked her up and ride her to the door. Rosa was standing there, watching me. Vincent, I'm sorry, she said. I didn't mean to hurt you. I didn't mean to hurt any of you. I know, but that doesn't change what happened. I know it doesn't, but I want you to know that I love her. I love her more than anything. She's not yours to love anymore. She's mine. She's always been mine. Rosa nodded slowly. I know. I wanted to see her one more time. I wanted to say goodbye. You said goodbye? Now it's time to go. She nodded and stepped aside. I ride Lily out of the cabin and into the cold October air. I didn't look back. I drove through the night with Lily asleep in the passenger seat beside me. The road wound through the dark hills, the headlights cutting a narrow path through the blackness. Every few miles, I glanced over at her, checking her breathing, making sure she was still there. She was so small, so fragile, so utterly dependent on me, and I had almost lost her. Again, we reached the city at dawn. The sky was bleeding pink and orange over the skyline, the kind of sunrise that made you believe in second chances. I pulled up to the brownstone where my mother was staying. She was waiting on the steps, wrapped in a shawl, her face drawn with worry as she opened the door when she saw me. Her eyes went immediately to Lily. She's all right, I said. She's sleeping. My mother reached out and touched Lily's cheek, her hand trembling. She's beautiful. She looks just like you did when you were that age. She's not mine, not by blood. She's yours where it matters. That's the only thing that counts. I ride Lily inside and laid her on the couch. My mother covered her with a blanket and sat down beside her, watching her sleep. I stood in the doorway, watching them. My mother and my daughter. The two people I loved most in the world. We need to talk, I said. About what happens next. My mother looked up at me. What do you want to happen? I don't know. I spent my whole life fighting. I don't know how to stop. You don't have to stop. You just have to change what you're fighting for. I sat down across from her. I want to build something. Something real. Something that will last. For Lily. For all of us. My mother nodded. Then do it. You have everything you need. The money, the power, the influence. You can create a new world. Not alone. I need help. I need people I can trust. You have them. Rio. Antonio. Me. We're all here for you. I thought about Antonio. About Rosa. About all the people who'd betrayed me and all the people who'd saved me. There's something I need to tell you, I said. About Rosa. About what happened between us. My mother's face was still. I know. Antonio told me. You knew and you didn't say anything. I didn't know how. I didn't want to hurt you. It hurts more that you kept it from me. All of you. Everyone knew except me. She reached across and took my hand. I'm sorry, Vincent. I'm sorry for all of it. But you have to understand, we were trying to protect you. We thought if you knew the truth, it would destroy you. It almost did. Almost. But you survived. You're still standing. And now you have a chance to make things right. I pulled my hand away. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I have anything left. You have Lily. You have me. You have a future. That's more than most people ever get. I looked at her, this woman who'd given up everything for me. She was right. I had a future. I had a chance. And I was going to take it. The meeting was called for 2 weeks later. All the family heads, Whitmore and Russo, gathered in a neutral location. A hotel ballroom in the middle of the city, the kind of place that had seen its share of deals and betrayals. I walked in with Rio at my side. My mother and Antonio were already there, sitting at a table in the center of the room. Around them, the families were arrayed like opposing a remise, waiting for the first shot to be fired. I took my place at the head of the table. Thank you for coming, I said. I know this isn't easy for any of you. We've been enemies for a long time. We've hurt each other. We've killed each other. But I'm here to ask you to stop. A murmur ran through the room. I held up my hand. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking this is a trick. You're thinking I'm going to betray you the first chance I get. But I'm not. I'm done with that. I'm done with the violence. I'm done with the bloodshed. And what about us? One of the Whitmores called out. What are we supposed to do? Just forget everything? No. You're not supposed to forget. You're supposed to move on. You're supposed to build something better. Build what's better than what we had. Everything. Everything is better than what we had. We had war. We had death. We had nothing but pain and suffering. I want to give you something else. I want to give you peace. The room fell silent. Then Antonio stood up. I've been the head of the Russo family for 50 years. I've made mistakes. I've done terrible things. But I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the fighting. I'm tired of the dying. I want to end it. And I believe Vincent can help us do that. My mother stood up next. I've been hiding for 50 years. I've been afraid of the families, afraid of the violence, afraid of everything. But I'm not afraid anymore. Because I know we can change. I know we can be better. One by one, the family heads stood up and spoke. Some were angry. Some were skeptical. But by the end of the night, they'd agreed to a truce. A real one. A lasting one. I left the ballroom that night with a weight lifted off my shoulders. For the first time in my life, I felt like I'd done something right. The years that followed were quiet. Peaceful. I built a new empire, one based on legitimate business and honest dealings. I took care of my family. I raised Lily. I watched her grow up, become a woman, become someone I was proud of. Rosa came back, eventually. She'd changed, softened, become something more than the woman who'd lied to me. We talked, long and hard, and we found a way to be in each other's lives. For Lily's sake. For our own. My mother lived to see her grandchildren. She passed away in her sleep, peaceful and content. Antonio followed her a year later. His last words a whispered apology for all the things he'd done wrong. I stood at their graves, watching the rain fall, and I thought about everything that had brought me to this moment. The letters, the secrets, the lies, the truth. And I realized that I wouldn't have it any other way. Because all of it, every single moment of pain and loss and betrayal, had led me here, had led me to this life, had led me to Lily. She came up beside me, a grown woman now, her hand on my arm. Are you okay? Dad. I looked at her. This child who'd saved my life. This child who'd given me a reason to live. I'm fine, I said. I'm more than fine. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. She smiled, the same smile she'd had when she was 5 years old. I love you, Dad. I love you too, Lily. More than anything. We stood there in the rain, father and daughter, and watched the world go on. The sun came out, breaking through the clouds, casting a warm light on everything around us. It was a new day. A new beginning. And I was ready for it.